Hey, editing Jacob here. I just wanted to say my mic glitched, so all of this footage is unusable. Here's a little clip. Hello, random fellows. This is some bullet for fun. Yeah, so I'm voiceovering this whole video with a new mic, so excuse any strangeness. I'm kind of troubleshooting here. Thanks. On to the video. Hello, random fellows. This is a voiceover from me in the future. This is some 2+1. This is my first time playing Bullet on chess.com. I've played a little bit over the board, but other than that, never in my life. So let's get into the game. I'm starting off with a rating of 1741. I have the black pieces. My opponent plays the Queen's Gambit. This gets into a Nimso-Indian line that's somewhat complicated, so I'm a bit iffy on whether or not I should have played this in Bullet. So just normal developing moves, then I take after he played bishop d3 to make him waste a tempo, bring the knight out to c6, he castles. I play a6 to try and play b5, as you can see. He plays a3, I almost hang my bishop by the way. Pull it back to e7, then he gets e4 in. I play b5. I'm looking at some b5, b4 ideas, but I decide against it and I just play bishop b7. He goes e5, I bring the knight into the center. And now we have a relatively complex position. He brings his knight into e4. I'm looking at some weird knight moves, I guess. I end up playing f6. Pre-move takes. I'm trying to keep my speed up, so I just take. And here, I just nosedive into this tactic. No calculation, but I just believe that there's something, so I go for it. Yeah, so it's a relatively complex position, but I believe that there was something for me here. I'm looking at different moves like knight f4 and knight takes d3 and all of these weird tactics, but I end up not being able to calculate very well, so you'll see in a moment the choice I made. I end up spending a lot of time here, which I'm not so happy with, but I thought that there was a game-winning tactic, so I had to like stop everything and go for it. So I'm looking at knight f4 again, and I end up playing it, which is quite shocking. There is actually a resource here for him. You'll see that in the analysis after. You can go back in the video and pause and see if you can find it, but he ends up just going down a piece. So this is a bishop for 2 pawns. Actually, this is, now he has 1 pawn for the bishop, so this is just completely lost. And it should be relatively simple to win. I just have to be very careful not to lose on time. So I move my knight, hitting his rook. He moves his rook. Now I have to move my knight again, and I'm actually a bit concerned with the choice I made there, but he ends up just hanging his rook and resigning. So yeah, now I hit like 1900 rating. I think I was at like 1741 before this game. You can see the ratings. I'm at 1940 and he's at 1777. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, but I gained like 200 rating points, right? Because I started at 1741 and I went up to 1940. So that's pretty insane, but it's just these placement matches, they give an incredible amount of rating. Okay, so you can kind of see the analysis yourself. I don't have to say that much here, but I think overall it was a pretty clean game. I got a bit low on time, but I sensed the right moments with the tactics. And yeah, both sides made some misses and some blunders. Rook takes was bad. He could have actually played queen h3, as you can see, but he played queen e2. And knight e3 was apparently the correct move instead of knight f4. It's insane to play that. You hang your knight 3 different ways, but it just doesn't matter. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, knight g3 is an only move, defending his queen, and then takes, and it ends up just being an endgame where I'm uh, down the exchange for a piece and a pawn, right? Yeah. So anyways, I missed that, but he messed up the defense. He should have played rook e1, which you'll see in a moment. Um, but he should have just defended his knight and defended his queen, and kind of everything holds together, and he's just up material. So yeah, that was about it for this first game. Obviously, you know, the endgame was pretty simple. He just hung a rook and there's not much else to say. So I switched the overlay and we get back to the next game. Okay, so I'm playing against, I think this guy's like 1900 somewhere. He's like 1950 or something. But yeah, it's the Alban counter gambit, and this is just like an easy way to play against it, this g3 setup. I play knight here so my c4 pawn's not hanging, develop the bishop, castle, all of this normal stuff. And now I'm just attacking his c4 pawn a lot. And yeah, e3, pretty simple move. I'm just threatening to take his d4 pawn, and if he takes on e3, then I'll trade queens and take back on e3 with the bishop, and he just helped me a great amount. So he ends up going for d3, but I was not really afraid of this during the game because I can just bring a knight to d4, and the d3 pawn's just hanging. He could play like knight b4, but then I just play a3, and you're not hanging onto it in any way, shape, or form. So he plays h5, he's just trying to attack me, and I end up taking the pawn after checking to make sure that knight takes d4 doesn't work because I can take back with the pawn. Obviously, if I took back with the knight, he would be able to play c5 because my queen is pinned. Like, you know, my knight's pinned to my queen. That's undefended behind the knight. Anyways, he plays knight g6. I play bishop d2. It's a bit of a difficult position to play for me, and I actually blundered because he can just take on e5, but he ends up playing queen g4, which was a move that I was quite shocked by. But yeah, he's just trying to attack me, so I play queen f5 check, which is an alright move. So he plays king b8, getting out of check, obviously, and I really thought that I would have some knight takes c6, and then the pawn takes back, and then I would take his queen, his pawn takes back. But the problem is my knight on f3 is hanging, and if I move it, my bishop on d2 is hanging. So that's why my next move makes sense. It's rook d1, but it actually just blunders. And I'm not going to tell you what the move is. Obviously, I've seen the analysis, but if you can find the move in this position, props to you. Obviously, he trades queens, and now it's completely okay for white. It was in the position before he traded queens. Now this is just completely fine. White is a pawn up. And yeah, he just hung a rook. There's not much more to say. And checkmate at that. So yeah, now I've won 2 games in a row, and that's pretty nice. But I don't know, I think that I was playing pretty well in both of these games. So I get into the analysis here just a little bit very quickly. It's the Alban counter gambit, and yeah, all of these are pretty normal moves. There was some point where I could have included a3, I think. But other than that, it's just like, yeah, all of these moves are logical and you can kind of play these moves whenever. So yeah, it's like +1 for white, and apparently e3 was a mistake, but I thought that it was a really good move. The computer likes knight c5 for some reason. I don't know, it's a bit difficult to understand these lines, but e3, he plays d3, and it's still good. Yeah, just up 2 pawns now. And there's not much else to say about the position, but this is what I was talking about before with your queen being pinned behind the knight. But obviously with pawn takes, it's just completely fine for white. In fact, very winning. So yeah, I hung the e5 pawn, as I said. So yeah, bishop d2 was a bit strange, but then he played queen g4, and that was also a bit strange from his side. Though admittedly, it's like the best move aside from taking the a5 pawn, so I guess he just didn't see the e5 pawn was hanging in the hindsight. In which case, his play kind of makes sense. But yeah. I mean, this is just apparently like much, much worse for white. Yeah, so he just played queen g4, and I played queen a5, or queen f5 check, and, you know, king b8 stepping out of the check. This is all just relatively logical, but I actually figure out here, as you can see the engine says, that I can take on c6, because after he takes back with the pawn, I can take on g4, he takes back with the pawn, and my knight on f3 can actually go to d4, replacing my other knight. So this is actually a bit of a visualization issue that I have sometimes. Also, I missed the rook fork, yeah, but it's kind of a very instructive visualization issue to have, that like the knight replacing the other knight, right? It's on a square that another piece is on right now in this position, but it won't be in the resulting position, right? Yeah, so this is the move I was talking about. Rook takes d4. It's quite a beautiful one. The point is, if knight takes, then he has knight h4 check, forking my king and queen, which is an incredible find. So basically, if he played rook takes d4, I would have nothing to do. I think there was e takes d4 as well, but it lost for other reasons. Yeah. So overall, I mean, yeah, pretty okay game. The computer says it's much better for white, like +4, even though I'm only up one pawn. And I'm talking about how I guess it's just because, you know, black is so passive. Obviously, I hung back rank there. We don't talk about that. But yeah, it's just like black basically can't do anything. It's just passive, and you're waiting for all of your pawns to get eaten. So I'm talking about how I'm 2050 in rating right now, as you can see, 2057. So I am gonna lose all of my rating. Okay, I literally say that right here. Okay, I know that you probably don't have the audio of the original video, so you don't know if you can believe me, but I swear I called it out right there, and I said I'm gonna lose all of my rating. Get ready. And hey, I mean, you'll have to watch the rest of the video to find out if I do that or not. Okay, I'm not spoiling. Yeah, so symmetrical English. He plays, you know, the bishop d2 setup that everyone plays, and I just completely copycat him. But I play more in the center, and he's playing for b4 really hard for some reason, so I play a5 to stop him from doing that. And he goes e4, which leaves a gaping hole on d4, so I was very happy to see this setup. And I just castle, he castles, all very normal moves. Plays d3, which is opening up his bishop on c1, obviously. And I play knight d4, which is maybe a bit of a weird move in hindsight, because he can just trade and drop his knight back to e2. And it's just like, was that knight trade really beneficial to me? But I guess that it was okay. I mean, it's not like it's bad, it's just strange. Like, there's no real reasoning behind wanting to trade pieces there. And it's kind of common chess knowledge that you don't want to trade pieces unless it benefits you. Or you don't want to trade pawns unless it benefits you. You don't want to, like, you know, touch anything in the position unless it benefits you. So here I just hang my b7 pawn, which is, you know, really nice. But, I mean, yeah, it happens sometimes. That was just a complete oversight on my part. Also, I'm starting to get low on time as well, which is awesome. I have a minute, he has a minute and 50 seconds. And, yeah, knight e5, f4, knight g4, h3, my knight's just getting kicked around here. And I end up putting it back on h6, hoping to play f5 and free it. So that was kind of the plan there. He develops his bishop, I play f5, And unfortunately, to my sadness, he does not take on f5. He plays queen b3, which is a normal move. So I decide, you know what? It's time to trade pieces and get to an endgame because this is horrible. Okay? Currently, I feel like I basically can't accomplish anything in the position, so that's why I kind of want to trade off all the pieces, get to an endgame so that I can get rid of a lot of my positional pains, if that makes sense. So yeah, I take on e4, he takes back with the pawn, all that. Now I'm offering a queen trade, and he thinks for a little bit, and he finally accepts it, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I don't want to spoil before the moves actually happen, but he plays rook b7, which I expected, and I drop the bishop back to e8, and then I go to f7. I mean, like, how am I supposed to not spoil this? This guy's taking like 3 years to make the moves. Okay. Yeah, so rook e7, also, I expected all of this. I play bishop f7, but, you know, I'm not saying it's good for me. I'm just saying I knew he would play it. So he hung a pawn for some reason, which was weird. And also, now I realize it, knight h6 to f5 would have forked him and won the game on the spot. And of course, he gets out of the way, and guess what happens next? I hang a knight. Yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes you just kind of get unlucky. I missed my chance, and then right after, you know, I mean, I was trying to improve my knight and get it to help the passed pawn rolling, right? It makes sense, but unfortunately just moved it to a square where it was hanging. Yeah, he had the rook trade and the bishop trade, and yeah, this is just completely lost. I'm playing on for some tricks, but there's also no hope of flagging him because he has a minute to my 13 seconds. But I think actually it's very instructive how he ends up winning this game. Even though I am, you know, down like, what, a full piece? You should see how he wins this. He plays g4, I take, I just keep moving the king back and forth, right? And it's kind of difficult for white to make a plan. So you know what he ends up doing? He checks me, he starts trying to flag me, and as soon as I start pre-moving, I hang my bishop. I wasn't like really pre-moving, but it was like I was kind of pre-moving in my head, and I like lost the thread for a moment, and then I hung my bishop. So that was really, really well played from him. Not that I necessarily was putting up the greatest defense ever, but I thought that it was very instructive. But yeah, bishop d4 is just a good move no matter what. I mean, I have to like bring the bishop back to e7 if I don't hang it, and or trade it, which is also completely lost, and yeah. But we get into the analysis. Obviously, symmetrical English, already said all this stuff. Might as well speed through this. He's playing for b4, I stop him. You know, he leaves the gaping hole on d4. Already said all of this stuff, there's not more to say about this position. So it's like equal or slightly better for white, but this is just like almost equal. And I just hang my b7 pawn. The computer actually says that it's okay, surprisingly, if I play a move like queen c8 or rook a1, which are both like very difficult to understand. But yeah, I go for like whatever this is, and now I'm just worse because I'm down a pawn and have a less active position. So I defend quite well. I start trading off all the pieces, and now it's only a little bit worse for black, but I still do not find the best defensive moves until I do, and he hangs a fork. So I had one chance, but I missed it by playing too fast. You know, it really sucks when you can't find those moments, right? I just played too quickly and I didn't realize it was there. But yeah, it happens. So the computer says to play bishop f8 and it's just equal. And, you know, I was obviously threatening to fork his king on g1 and his rook on a7. So you would be forced to play king f1, and it's just an equal position apparently. So back to switching overlays and getting into the next game. Now we have played 3 games. There are 6 in total, by the way. So yeah, this is a Queen's Gambit. He plays bishop b4 check, which is a Bogo Indian. I play knight d2. He castles. I play a3. This is all like relatively normal stuff. I think that these openings always give white a somewhat comfortable position to play because I have the bishop pair, and black has pretty much no compensation in my eyes. I feel like the Nimso Indian is a lot better because you usually get like a great deal of compensation for losing the bishop pair, in my opinion. But with the Bogo Indian, like, I don't know if taking on d2 is so great. I kind of like the retreat variations better. Anyways, back to the game. I played b4 and I won a pawn on c5, which was pretty nice. I quite like my position here, actually. I played b5, which is just taking more space. And e3, just consolidating. Yeah, he plays knight here, threatening to win the bishop pair or to win my pawn, which kind of sucks. But I end up just developing my bishop because, you know, that's what you gotta do sometimes. Obviously, I'm happy if he takes on d2 because then I might be able to keep my pawn. And yeah, just trade off a bad bishop for a good knight, I suppose. So we lock up the queen side. He plays bishop b7, and I castle. All of these relatively normal developing moves. I want to play bishop c3 in the future, get onto this good long diagonal, but he is not gonna let me do that if he gets the chance. He strikes in the center, and now bishop c3 is no longer playable because his knight guards that square. So yeah, relatively annoying play from my opponent. I bring my own knight into the center, and this is actually a pretty funny position with the L shape of knights. All I need is my knight. You know, if I could magically put a knight on c4, it would be the magic knight square. But he plays queen f6, which is just a move, I guess. I play queen b1. I'm threatening to take on h7. So he's forced to play h6 or g6 for that matter. I bring the rook to d1. I want to slide my bishop back. Relatively calm positional game. He brings his rook into the game with rook d8. I bring my other rook with rook a3. Rook a3 is a pretty nice maneuver, I thought. But I don't actually know if it's any good. He played queen g5, hitting my g2 pawn, and he wants to like move his knight on d5 and threaten mate at the same time. So I play knight f3 back, hitting his queen, threatening to play e4, which I then do on the next move. And he played knight b4, which kind of shocked me. I was quite shocked by this move because it just hangs a pawn, but not really though because my e4 pawn's hanging. But I do think that my two passers, my 2 versus 1 on the king side, sorry, not 2 passers, it's going to be 1 passer in the future, is quite good for me. So he trades rooks, he takes on e4 with the bishop, and I play a5. I want to get those pawns rolling, right? So, you know, pretty natural move, and his time's ticking down, 23 seconds, and he just straight up hangs a bishop. Just fully hangs a bishop, so I take that, and after hanging the bishop, he hangs a knight too, and now he's just trying to flag me. So I need to be careful not to get flagged, but I'm hesitating, and it's sloppy, and I don't know what to do when his queen's on b6, and all this stuff. But like, it kind of sucks because like queen d2 here, and I probably win on the spot. But I don't find it, and I just... Also, there was like rook a8, at some point back ranking him, I think. I don't remember this stuff. He goes back to cover his back rank. I try trading, he doesn't allow it. And I'm really like scrambling here and I don't know what to do. And, you know, time's ticking, I don't know what to do. And I hang my rook and it's lost. Yeah. So that really sucks. I end up getting flagged there. I'm very, very upset about it in the video. So, you know, I'm kind of talking about how when I get into these time scrambles, I don't know what to do. Like, it's not that I'm panicking, but it's just I have to move quickly under time pressure, and I have to continue making moves, and when I don't know what to do, my moves are just bad. Like, I'm just moving the pieces around, playing queen e2, like, it's just pointless. And it's very annoying because if I had found this, like, back rank mate, for example, I would have easily won the game. But sometimes you just get unlucky, and you don't see the things that you need to see. But yeah, this guy is 2015 bullet, which is like incredibly high rated. Just so you know, I'm like 1760 blitz or something, so I'm really not that great at fast-paced time controls. It's pretty incredible that I got up to 2050 bullet at one point, but I am in fact losing some of that rating back currently, and currently as in the video, not like real time currently. So yeah, that was a pretty depressing game, but I switched back to the playing overlay and we get back into it. It's 2 more games until I get like my quote-unquote placement. I don't really know how all of this stuff works, to be honest. I just like looking at big numbers and and being like, oh my god, 2000 rating, but I don't actually know what any of this stuff means. So anyways, close Sicilian with a 92 variation. I mean, this is like, all of these games so far have been like some really solid stuff. Besides the Alban Gambit, this is some pretty natural stuff. But he lets me get d4 in, and now it's like a King's Indian defense, but like some weird moves have been inserted. So I end up starting to push my pawns on the queen side because that's what you normally do in King's Indian defense setups. But I'll admit I didn't really know what to do when he started pushing all of his pawns. Admittedly. Like, it's kind of difficult to know what to do after f5, right? I can't be alone in thinking that this is a hard position to play. But looking at it now, maybe I should just play h6, and I'm threatening to play g5 maybe, but then he just has h4 blasting things open, right? So that's, you know, maybe a bit iffy, but yeah, this is also a bit iffy because now my king safety is a little weird, and it's kind of a race to get control over the g file. I end up giving up that bishop. I don't know if it was on purpose or if I hung it, but it doesn't really matter to me, I suppose. So yeah, double the queen and the rook on the g file, and I start attacking on the queen side, and guess what? My rook's trapped. So actually I could play rook f7, which is kind of funny, but I missed it completely, and now my rook's just trapped. I mean, that's just purely a one move blunder because I'm tired, but hey, I mean, it happens when you're playing bullet, right? Especially against these relatively high rated players. I mean, I feel like if I'm 1700 blitz, I can say that they're pretty high rated. Also, I was like 1800 blitz at some point, but not anymore. Yeah, let's not talk about it. But yeah, I'm pretty distraught about hanging all of my pieces, so I end up taking his bishop, right? Because I want to get compensation. But guess what? Bishop g7 check is just gonna win the whole house. Just gonna win the whole house. So actually, I think I could play some queen f7, and then bishop g7 check, king g8, then he plays bishop takes f6, and I can play king f8. So maybe I can actually run and do a king walk, but I assure you I did not see it in the game. But I was quite surprised that he didn't play bishop g7 check immediately, but I guess it's because of that variation I just referred to. And I'm forced to give up the queen for the rook and the bishop, and I actually didn't even see that main one, by the way. When it occurred on the board, it actually surprised me. So yeah, that was a really, really painful loss. So I end up looking at the analysis a little quickly. Obviously, I'm not that happy to look at this game that I just lost, but I was quite surprised to see my opponent 1950. I mean, like, all of these players are just like so strong, right? Like a 2100, 2050. Wait, did I play a 2100? I don't actually remember. But yeah, I'm playing all these like random strong players and just getting destroyed. And I mean, yeah, it's pretty painful to be blundering all the time, and I guess well, obviously I'm over it now, but I kind of try to play my way through it. That's what I normally do, but it doesn't really help because once you start blundering because you're tired, it doesn't really go away. Anyways, I get some weird position I've never seen before in my life with this like hyper modern weird two knights defense against the Queen's Gambit. Yeah. So this is some pretty weird stuff, but I play bishop g5 after he took on c3, and he plays e5 because he just wants to close things up and open up his bishop, presumably. So I bring my bishop back to e3 to try and play c5, and he sees that as well. That's why he plays b6, but we both overlook the fact that the e4 pawn's hanging. So that's kind of funny. I mouse slip king f1 instead of castles, and I am very upset about it. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say upset, but I'm just like shocked. Distraught, some might say. Yeah, so I play g3 and try to play king g2. This is like a typical setup to try and get your king to safety, but he just blows things open with f5. I should have taken it in hindsight, but I allow f4, and I kind of underestimated how strong this was. So yeah, he pushes his pawn, and I have to drop my bishop back, and now he's kind of starting to open things up on the king side and gather more space and all that stuff. He inserts bishop g4 because now he's threatening after he takes the pawn to win the knight on f3. That's why I play rook f1, so that way I can take back with the f pawn and defend my knight. Very high level stuff. But yeah, he ends up playing queen f6, which just applies more pressure. And if I really wanted to, I could probably have moved my knight, but I end up playing h3. I don't know what I would have played. No, I couldn't have moved my knight. I think I was looking at that during the game, but I saw that I couldn't because my queen's hanging, his queen's hanging, but he gives up the bishop for my queen, and I give up the rook for his queen. So yeah, sorry, a little bit tired. But I play h3, attacking his bishop, and he thinks for a while and plays a move here that I absolutely did not expect or understand at all, which is knight takes g3. So first of all, I can take his bishop on g4. That's the first thing I saw. And if he takes my rook on f1, I just take back with the queen, and I have two pieces for a rook and a pawn. Right? Or, sorry, did I say take back with the queen? I could actually take back with the queen, but I think I wanted to take back with the bishop for some reason. I don't remember all of the details of this position, sorry. But, yeah, I end up just taking his knight on g3 because guess what? It's a free knight. It looks a little weird to have the king on g3, but it's actually completely okay. Like I just step the queen back, or step the king back, sorry, and his queen is close to my king, but it's not checkmating me yet. So he takes, I take, he plays rook f8, and yeah, I just walk directly into a tactic, which really sucks, right? And you can see my expressions up there in the face cam. I am very unhappy about the fact that I won a piece and then walked directly into a tactic, and there's just nothing. I try rook f1, but queen d2 check and it wins my bishop. So I'm basically saying that I can't get lucky when I play these games. So I got lucky in the first two games, but like other than that, I've just like okay, this is me talking during the video that I'm recording with the glitch mic, right? I'm saying that in the first two games people were like hanging rooks against me, and then all of a sudden people start playing like gods, like Magnus Carlsen. They stop blundering, and when they do blunder, I blunder right back. So yeah, that kind of sucks, but props to my opponent, sacrificing the queen for the rook to convert very quickly in a bullet game. That was well played. I'm just showing here that, you know, if I could have tricked him somehow and taken both pawns, then maybe I would have had better drawing chances, even though this endgame is objectively completely lost due to the pass pawn that black has. But yeah, my king was just outside of the square, and I had no way to win both pawns, so there were no tricks. It was just easy consolidation. But yeah, I'm talking about how it's kind of sucks that there's such a decrease in my level of play when I'm tired. Like, the first two games, I win convincingly, and then after that, I just lose 4 in a row. Like, it just really, really hurts. And it really sucks. But, yeah, that's how it happens sometimes. That's about it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, even though you probably already did those things because you made it this far. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.